Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Bolts Breakdown. Bryan Burns, beat writer for TampaBayLightning.com. Recher 95.3 WDAE. And of course, we'll break down the last game, the Lightning's big win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then preview tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. But the countdown is on, Burns. You've got about 12 hours, just a touch over 12 hours left to vote for Brayden Point to make the All-Star game. There's a slew of ways for you to be able to vote for him to make sure that he's the last man in. For the Atlantic Division, you got to get Pointer in there. You know Stammer and Cooch are in there. And then Vazzy as the replacement for Carey Price. John Cooper's going to be there behind the bench for the Atlantic Division. So do your part. Remember, you can vote 10 times in a 24-hour period. Vote for Brayden Point. This is the last day to do so. How do you think he's doing? I wish they gave us some kind of update, and it's right there at the bottom of the screen there. Click that tab right at the bottom. It's your last day to vote. Get it in now so you can get Brayden Point to the All-Star game out in San Jose. It'd be nice to get some kind of,
they used to give you those
halfway,
updates,
right?
At least for like the captains when they were tabulating what those votes were. They used to give you some kind of update, but it's weird kind of being in the blind and not knowing whether this effort is paying off, whether Pointer's numbers are up there, if we need to get more people out there to vote. Toronto's going to be there. They're going to try to get their guy in. So we need all the Lightning fans to go out there and vote Pointer in. And he absolutely deserves it. I mean, he had 2 goals in the last game. I think he's now tied for 6 in the NHL for goals. He's tied for 8 for scoring. I mean, when you have a guy that's in the top 10 and he's not in the All-Star game, I think it's a little wonky of a system.
Especially when how good the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing this year. 10 points clear of any other team. Forget about the division or the Eastern Conference, but in the entire NHL, a nice, strong season for the team so far. 8 games in a row they've won at home. They're going to look to make it 9 tonight. You said
it could tie the franchise record for most home victories in a row. You got to go back to the 2015-16 season. They won 9 games in a row there. So how about you a little bit of a chance to make history tonight?
That'd be nice. Also, another thing, and you wrote a really good story about this on TampaBayLightning.com. Victor Hedman. He talked about it after morning skate today, and tonight he'll, break the record, tie the record?
Yeah, so he and Pavel Kabina are tied right now for most games played by a Bolts defenseman. Hetty obviously will be in the lineup tonight, all things go well, and will break the record. It will be the Lightning's #1 tops games played by a defenseman. I mean, he pretty much owns every record now as a defenseman. He owns goals, assists, points, power play. Actually, power play goals, he's not really up there. Scoring, he's getting close.
Probably Dan Boyle.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. But tonight he'll have games played as well after passing Kabina.
As always, right here on Bolts Breakdown, we want to hear from you. Where you're watching Bolts Breakdown from, put it there at the bottom of the screen. Let us know that you shared this on your Facebook. Shout out to Tommy Larson, watching in the evening from all the way out there in Stockholm, Sweden. We appreciate you watching, Tommy, as always. And there, pinned at the top of the screen, last day to vote for Brayden Point. Get him in now to the 2019 All-Star game.
We're making it easy for you guys.
Making it easy. We don't have to tell you. Just click there at the screen. You don't even have to leave the page right now. Before we get into tonight's game against the Carolina Hurricanes, Burnsy, let's look back at Tuesday night's win against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And you look at the difference between the first and the second period. You love the defensive play of the team. And if there was anything that people were questioning in the last couple of weeks, it was giving up too many goals. And I think when you're in the middle of the season right now, you can't make too much into it and say, oh, man, there's some difficulties on the defensive side, or, maybe Vazzy is a little rusty. It's the middle of the season. It's they call in baseball the dog days of summer. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. The week or the 2 weeks before the All-Star break and the week, 2 weeks after, I think you kind of see something where guys know that the break is coming or the break just passed. So I wouldn't make too much into it, but if anybody had any kind of doubts, they quelched those the other night with a strong defensive performance against the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I thought that was one of their better, just team defensive performances in quite a while. And I know Andrei Vasilevsky had the shutout. It was a 31-save shutout, but I think it was the job that the guys did in front of him. He saw most of those pucks. Yeah. He didn't have to make too many grade A saves. There were a couple on Panarin, a couple one-timers in the left circle where he was able to slide over and make both of those saves. And those were the 2 that he was tested on the most. They both came in the second period. But I thought the Lightning did a really good job of getting in shooting lanes. Ryan McDonough talked about in the San Jose game. San Jose was doing a really good job of kind of crossing in front of the net and taking away Vasilevsky's eyes. And that's why maybe you saw him give up a couple goals that he'd like to have back, as he wasn't really seeing the puck as well as he usually does. And that's because of that traffic in front. So they made a concerted effort in the Columbus game to clean up that net front presence area, to make sure that Vasilevsky could see everything that was coming in. And I thought more than anything, that's what allowed them to play so well well defensively. You could see Vazzy from the very first shot was really tracking the puck well. They were allowing him to see the puck. And like I said earlier, just good job on the block shots. They had active sticks, getting in passing lanes. They just did a really good job defensively of just frustrating Columbus, I felt like. And you saw it really there in the second period where the Blue Jackets controlled. I think they outshot the Lightning 17-3 in that period. They controlled that game in the second period, at least from a possession standpoint, but they really couldn't get any grade A chances because of the job the Lightning were doing in front of them.
Without a doubt. Bryan Burns, beat writer for TampaBayLightning.com. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at BBurnsNHL. You can follow me at Recher. And, of course, make sure you're voting for Brayden Point. It's pinned right there on the screen. You can vote up to 10 times. And in a 24-hour period, it ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So do what you got to do to get Pointer into the game with Cooch, Stammer, and Vazzy. And let's not forget John Cooper, who was just sitting next to us. I thought he was going to chirp us or something or throw something.
Yeah, it looked like something might happen. But, they're focusing on the upcoming opponent out here.
Speaking of the upcoming opponent, Carolina is the opponent tonight, Burnsy, and this is a team that's riding high on a 5-game winning streak. What are your 3 keys to victory for the Bolts tonight?
Yeah, one for me is get Tyler Johnson the puck. Because look at the last 2 games the Lightning have played against Carolina at home. Tyler Johnson's had a hat trick in both of those games. So obviously there's something that he likes about playing Carolina. You look at his stats overall against Carolina. He scored more goals against this team than he has against any other NHL team. I think he's on like a 6 or 7 game point streak against Carolina. So I don't know what it is about the Hurricanes, and we asked him, and he said I probably jinxed him with bringing up that hat trick stat.
It's funny because you asked him, and then I took the video and put it up on my Twitter. So if you want to see what Tyler Johnson had to say about his success against the Carolina Hurricanes, at JRetcher, Bryan Burns asked the question, and he kind of gave us that sheepish grin. It was pretty funny. But I think, in my opinion, that was one of the goals of the year last year when he just out-muscled Noah Hannafin down on that side of the rink and just scored a goal, and it was just like that was one man wanting it more than another dude.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a great goal.
It was incredible. And, hey, why not? Let's make it 3 in a row tonight. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he playing on that line with Point and Kucherov. It's not like they can zero in on him and forget about the other 2 guys.
So, feed him the puck. Number 2 for me, just like we saw in the Columbus game, continue defending as a group. I just want to see that effort that we saw against the Blue Jackets continue tonight against Carolina. Like we said, cleaning up the net front area, allowing Vasilevsky. It looks like it is going to be Andrei Vasilevsky again tonight. He's going to make his 8th straight start. Let him see all those pucks because we know he's one of the best in the league at tracking the puck, but you got to let him see it first so he can track it. And just continue to get in those shot lanes, passing lanes, frustrate Carolina. They're going to get a lot of shots tonight. A lot of those are going to come from the point as well. So it'll also be imperative that Vasilevsky, either clears those rebounds away if he can't snare it or snag it. So there's no second chance opportunities. That's kind of what Carolina lives by.
And he does a great job of that. I'm talking. I think he's number 1. I don't know if there's a stat for it, but I think he's number 1 in rebound control in the game. To me, that was the biggest difference between him and Domingue. I thought Domingue did a really good job. I mean, he's 15-4 on the year. A really impressive performance by him, especially when Vazzy was out. But the one difference between those 2 guys is that when guys get in, the offense is putting pressure on the Lightning D, and a guy gets a good shot, Vazzy's usually there to be able to make the save and keep it to 1 save and to force a draw in that zone. And Domingue didn't always do that, and that's the difference between a guy that's a Vezina caliber goalie and a guy that's a backup. Not taking any shots at Louis Domingue, but it's not easy. I mean, other goalies around the league have that same kind of issue. I know Marc-Andre Fleury is a perfect example. When his rebound control is spot on, he's one of the best goalies in the world. When it's not, he can give up 6 goals in a game. So rebound control to me is really what Vazzy sets him apart from everybody else.
Yeah, you see it too on those shots that he can't quite control. He's really good at using that pad to knock it out. And he knocks it out all the way to the wall. Like it's not just sitting there on a tee for somebody. Like he gets it out of trouble, out of danger. And I think that's, like you said, it's why he's one of the best goalies in the league. Number 3 for me, jump in front of this team. We were talking about this before we went on live here. Carolina is really a front-running team. If you look at their stats, when they're trailing after 2 periods, 0-13-2. They've yet to win a game this season when they're trailing after 2 periods. Conversely, when they're winning after 2 periods, what is it?
When they're winning after 2, they're 15-0-2.
15-0-2. So they're getting a point every time if they're winning after 2 periods. So for me, especially buoyed by this home crowd, it'd be imperative for the Lightning to get out in front, get a good start. and just see that carry them through all the way to that second period. If you can go to the second period with a lead, statistically they should come out of here with 2 points.
Yeah, you're looking at the Hurricanes 14-3-2 when they score first, and then 11-1-2 when leading after 1. And you mentioned 15-0-2 leading after 2. That's better than the Lightning, who are 22-2-1. So it's pretty crazy to think that this is a front-running team. You really, if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, you want to get it in front, get out in front.
Like, looking back, there's been a couple of games, like the Lightning's worst games have been games where they've gone into the third period ahead. I remember the Ottawa game where they were up like 4-2 and then ended up losing 6-4. The game way back against Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver,
yeah. Where they gave up 4 goals in the third period. So that was kind of an Achilles heel of this team, or at least one area where you're like, that's a little bit of a worry when you're going into the third period with the lead and you're giving up like 4 goals in the third period. We haven't seen that in quite a while now, but that's probably why that number is that way.
I think both Philly games were like that too, where they were up 5-1.
Yeah, the Philly game
5-2,
up there was 5-1.
And then 5-2 here, I think, and they were both tied, and they won both games in overtime.
Lightning won both of those games, but still, you want to be able to put those away without making it that, nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's not a kind of recipe for success that you want to live by. My one guy to watch, Justin Williams. He's a guy that's a veteran, the captain of this team. They're on a 5-game winning streak. This is a great mix of veterans and rookies and young players. Sebastian Aho, one of the best young superstars in the league. John Cooper talked about him after morning skate today, but Justin Williams is the guy, Mr. Game 7, they call him, and there's no situation that he's going to face that is too big for him or that he hasn't seen before, and I just love the swagger that this Carolina team's playing on. I mentioned the winning streak. They do that big skull clap at the end of wins at home where they all go around center ice and they do a big clap, kind of like a soccer team. Really cool. The other one the other day, I don't know if you saw it, but it was like one of the guys used to stick like Thor's hammer, and he jabbed it into the ground and everybody else fell over. Like these guys, I mean, this is a team right now, and they're playing hard. And I don't know what it is about Carolina. That's another thing I have up on my Twitter, asking John Cooper, what is it about the Carolina Hurricanes that always gives the Lightning a good game? And he talked about shot value. They get a lot of shots on net. Their defense always jumping into the play. I think even more with a guy like Dougie Hamilton. I know Hannafin did that a little bit, but the deal that they made last year or before this year with the Calgary Flames, I think Dougie Hamilton is a guy that likes to jump in the play. You got the Jacob Slavins and the Nate Pesci's of the world. Those guys, they can play. Don't forget about Justin Falk, another guy that's not afraid to get his shot on net. So I think regardless of what the score is going to be, Burnsy, I think it's going to be a really entertaining game tonight.
Yeah, you look, the Lightning have won 8 in a row against Carolina at home. 6 of those 8 games have been 1-goal games, and the other 2 are 2-goal games. So they've been tight games. I know the Lightning have played well against Carolina. They have gotten points from this matchup, but they've been tight games. They've been games the Lightning have kind of had to eke out.
As always, want to hear from you at Bolts Breakdown. Where are you watching it from? Put it there at the bottom of the screen. Also, any questions that you have, share this on your Facebook. Put shared. And don't forget to vote for Brayden Point. It's pinned right there on the screen. Let's give a couple of lineup updates, Burnsy, before we get out of here. Mikhail Sergachev, it looks like it's going to be his turn to sit tonight, which I know we were kind of talking about it during morning skate. I feel like he's played pretty well. And John Cooper, I asked him after the game the other night, and he said that just the confidence is just growing and growing with him. He finally got a goal in San Jose, so that was good to see. And I thought he played really well the other night against Columbus. He could have got another one. He was a big reason why Matthew Joseph got the goal there. So a little surprising that he's out in tonight's game. But I got to ask you, because we talked about this with Eric Erlinson yesterday on the Ron and Ian Show, 95.3 WDAE.com. If you missed that move that he does at the blue line to get around the forechecker coming his way, what could we call that? I said the Sergey slide.
Sergey
Deke or something.
The Sergey shake, I thought.
The Sergey shake, that's what I said. The Sergey shake.
I like that one.
You like that?
Sergey
shake? If you guys have any ideas what you want to call that Sergachev move at the blue line where he kind of razzle-dazzles around the guy, I said Sergey shake. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a decent answer, but I feel like there's a better one out there that rolls off the tongue a little bit better. So if you know what to call the Sergey shake,
when I break them out for the game notes, I use Sergalicious. So,
Sergalicious, and you can play if he scores, does he have a goal song?
No, he doesn't.
He should have the Black Eyed Peas. Sergalicious, that would be perfect. Better than Oops, I Did It Again.
I'll talk to John Franzone about that one.
Get on him. Updates on JT Miller and Ryan Callahan. We talked to John Cooper after morning skate about that. Both guys are going to be out tonight, but it sounded like they will be on the trip, though.
Yeah, both should get back hopefully get back in the lineup on this 3-game road trip that the Lightning are going on. They play Buffalo Saturday, Islanders Sunday, and then Dallas Tuesday. So they're hopeful they can get both of those guys back in the lineup at some point on that trip. JT Miller was out there.
Yeah.
He's actually taking defenseman pairing rushes with Mikhail Sergachev on that fourth pairing. So it looks like he's close. He's wearing a regular jersey. He looks pretty good out there. I think Cooper feels enthusiastic or
optimistic.
There's the word.
There's the word.
Optimistic that he's going to be back a little bit sooner than I think maybe they thought he was going to be when that injury initially happened. And then Ryan Callahan out for tonight. But again, optimistic that he will be back for this road trip.
Brian Burns, beat writer for TampaBayLightning.com. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at BBurnsNHL. You can follow the team at TB Lightning. Go to TampaBayLightning.com for all the best news and notes. The great article on Victor Hedman tonight, breaking the record for most games. What's the story today?
I don't know yet. I got to go
Doesn't
back
know
and
yet.
listen to my notes and see what's out there.
Check it out, TampaBayLightning.com. Burnsy will let you know. Jay Recher, follow me on Twitter at Jay Recher. Follow the station at 95.3 WDAE. Go to 95.3WDAE.com for the best Bolts coverage. Puck drops 7:30 tonight. Pregame starts at 6:30. Up the dial on our sister station, 970 WFLA, and also on Fox Sports Sun. You're welcome on the updates. Again, Vasi in net tonight. No Sergachev, but hopefully an entertaining game.
Yeah, should be. Like we said, it's last few times these guys have played here at Amalie Arena, they've been 1-goal games, tight games. I know the Lightning have had to come back in a few of those, so it should be entertaining.
Sure is. Brian Burns, Jay Recher. We'll see you guys next time right here on Bolts Breakdown.